Hello Hotshell. So today we're going to be solving equations involving brackets. Some of the keywords you should have already seen in the previous lessons are equation and expression, inverse and operation. So these four here. But today we're going to take it a little step further and we're going to expand double brackets. So that's the key word that we're going to be going through today, is expanding. So let's define, what does expanding mean? Expanding means when we make something bigger. So what we're going to do with these equations, we're going to make them bigger and then rearrange, balance and solve the equations. So on the right hand side, the equipment that you should keep aside for today are a pen, paper, ruler and calculator. Most likely you won't be needing a calculator, but keep it aside just in case. Okay, so now we have an example 1. If you have a look at this question, you'll see that we have a pair of brackets here, pair meaning 2, yeah? So step 1, we need to expand the brackets. Expand the brackets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 2 on the outside of the bracket and I'm going to multiply it by every term on the inside of the bracket. So 2 times x and 2 times positive 8. So 2 times x will give me 2x. 2 times positive 8 will give me positive 16. That's equals to 20. Now step 2 is to solve the equation. We're going to solve it. So to solve this equation, we need to firstly get rid of anything which is not associated to this x term here. Anything that's not associated to. So this 16 here I've underlined is not associated to that x term. So I'm going to get rid of that by using the inverse operation. So the inverse of add 16 is subtract 16 from both sides, and I have 2x is equals to 4. So if you have a look here, it says x times 2 equals to 4. So what's the inverse of times 2? That is divided by 2. So I'm going to do the inverse of times 2, which is divided by 2 both sides, and then x equals to 2. Okay, what I would like you to do is to pause the video and have a go at answering this question. Once you're finished, I'll go through it myself. Okay, welcome back. So first things first, I'm going to expand this bracket. I'm going to multiply this 5 here, which is on the outside of the bracket, by every term inside of the bracket. 5 times x gives me 5 lots of x. 5 times positive 5 gives me positive 25, equals to 45. Now I need to get rid of anything which is not associated to this x term here. This positive 25 needs to go then. So the inverse of add 25 is subtract 25 both sides. Now I have 5x equals to 20. So now again we need to use an inverse operation. X times 5 gives me 20. So I need to do the inverse of times 5. The inverse of times 5, which is the opposite, is divided by 5 on both sides. Don't forget we need to balance the equation. So x equals to 4. Okay, example 2, we have a negative involved now, but it's the same procedure. I'm going to multiply everything on the outside by each of the terms on the inside. Don't forget that negative is attached to that 6, so that's a negative 6. So step 1, expand the bracket. Okay, 3 times x and 3 times negative 6. 3 times x gives me 3x, 3 lots of x. 3 times negative 6 will give me negative 18, which is equals to 6. So now step 2 is simply just to solve the equation. Solve the equation. So I'm going to get rid of anything that's not associated with this x term. So this negative 18 is not associated to that x term, so I need to get rid of the subtract 18. The inverse of subtract 18 is to add 18 on both sides, and then I get 3x is equals to 24. So I'll think of a number x, I times it by 3 and it equals 24. So what's the inverse of times it by 3? That is divided by 3 on both sides. So x is equals to 8, and that is our final answer. That is our solution. What I'd like you to do is to pause the video, have a go at this question, and then resume the video when you're done, and I'll quickly go through it. Okay, welcome back. 7 times x, 7 times negative 3. Don't forget the negatives attached to the 3. So 7x, take away 21, equals to 7. Now I'm going to get rid of the subtract 21 by doing the inverse, which is to add 21 to both sides. So 7x is equals to 28. X times 7 equals 28. So the inverse of times by 7 is divided by 7 on both sides, because we have to balance the equation. So x is equals to 4, and that is our final solution. Okay, so now we have a slightly different example. We have a negative in front. So we're going to times that negative 2 by every term inside of the brackets. So step 1, expand the brackets. Okay, so don't forget that negatives attached to the 2, so it's negative 2 times x. That will give me negative 2 lots of x. Negative 2 times positive 8. A negative times by positive will give me a negative, so I'll give me negative 16 is equals to 20. So now step 2, I need to solve the equation. Like I said previously, we need to get rid of anything which is not attached to this negative 2x term. So if we have a look, we know that the negative 16 is not attached to it. So to get rid of subtract 16, I'm going to do the inverse operation and add 16 to both sides. That'll give me negative 2x is equals to 36. So x times by negative 2 is equals to 36. So the inverse of times by negative 2 is divided by negative 2 on both sides. So I'm going to divide them both by negative 2, and now x equals to negative 18. And that is our final answer. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video, have a go at this question. Once you're done, resume and I'll go through it. Okay, welcome back. So negative 3 times by each of these terms. Negative 3 times x gives me negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 6. Negative times negative will give me a positive 18 to 6. Now I need to get rid of the add 18, so I'm going to subtract 18 on both sides. That'll give me negative 3x equals to negative 12. So x times by negative 3 equals negative 12. So I'm going to do the inverse of times by negative 3, and I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. So x is equals to 4. And that is our final answer. Okay, so we come on to the main task now. What I'd like you to do is to pause the video once I finish speaking, and I'd like you to have a go at 4 questions from the red, and then I'd like you to have a go at 4 questions from the amber, and I'd like you to have a go at 3 questions from the green. If you get stuck or if you need any help, please message a member of staff on class charts, and good luck.